rights that we cannot violate. Like when I got yelled at for singing the song. Like when I got yelled at for singing the song. Like when I got yelled at for singing the song. Like we can't include copywritten music.
Oh, right. That. I always forget about that. For the record, I always forget about that. For the record. Okay. Ooh, hello, and we are live, everyone. Look at that. Oh, it looks so cute. It looks so
That does look
good.
cool.
Awesome. Okay, hello, viewers and listeners of The Story Told. I am Logan, and I'll introduce and have everyone introduce themselves here in just a second, but I just want to get some announcements off at the top of the episode. We are the Story Told podcast. This is our second AP, City of Mist, the Serenity Files. We are proud members of the D20 Radio Network and partnered with Fool's Moon Entertainment. We are also affiliated with Fan Roll Dice by Metallic Dice Games. Enter the code StoryTold10 into your order. I know words, I promise. And you'll receive 10% off of that. Really amazing dice. And I hope you enjoy them. This is our second AP. Our first AP is, or our first Twitch AP rather, is Promethean the Created, The Body Electric, which is run by Griffin, my co-host. Go ahead and check that out. We are also releasing the audio for that every other week on our podcast channel. And without further ado, I want to introduce my players. And I'm going to start from my left with right above the moon, who is playing Mina Kim. Joey, you're going to start. We're just going to go in a straight line down.
Cool. Hi, I'm Joey. I am playing Mina Kim / Sailor V ? I've been playing games for more years of my life than I have not. And this is my first foray into the Story Told. So let's have some fun, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess that's me. I am Thomas. I am playing Marcel Cross / Sailor Mars, and I am brand new, so I'm very excited to be here and a little nervous. So, but more excited. So yeah.
Is it my turn now?
That is your turn, Dave.
My name's Dave. I have been role playing for quite a few decades at this point. This is my first time coming onto Twitch and doing an AP, especially with the Story Told. I will be playing Ormi Singh. She will be the embodiment of Sailor Mercury. I'm really looking forward to getting my City of Mist game on here.
Wonderful. And last but not least.
Hi, everyone. I'm Steven. If you watch Promethean with us, you would know that I also play Olive in our Promethean game every other Friday. But tonight I am playing Scooter Toms. Scooter Toms identifies as they, them. They're also a little bit Sailor Jupiter. And they are a master baker. Master baker. Don't get it wrong.
The constant there is very important.
So with that said, something that we probably should have given at the top with our introductions are pronouns. My pronouns are he, him. And guys, when you say this, also give the pronouns of your character too, because I know some of those are a little different as well. So let's do that, then we'll talk about safety tools and kind of get this party started.
Sure, yeah. My pronouns as the player are he, him. Mina is my character's pronouns are she, her.
Fabulous.
My pronouns are they, them. My character Marcel is he, him.
My pronouns are he, him, and my character Urmi Singh is she, her.
My pronouns are he, him. My character's pronouns are they, them.
Wonderful. Okay, so that's a nice segue into what a lot of us, I think most of us, I think Thomas, this because you are relatively new to gaming, this might be new to you, but safety tools. So first things first is we have an X card. We'll figure out the logistics of that before play, but how the X card works, Thomas, is if there's anything that ever makes you uncomfortable in play, you like bring up the X card. Maybe again, we'll figure out exactly how we're going to do it beforehand. But oh yes, we have a I'm going to pause it real quick. We have a wonderful producer, Kim, who plays Caspar on The Body Electric. Her pronouns are he, her, is going to be our producer for the Serenity files and take some of the legwork out from underneath us to make this a little bit more seamless. So everyone in the chat, listening, watching, give a big shout out and thank you to Kim for all her hard work. It does not go unnoticed or unappreciated. Right, safety tools. So X card, anything that makes you uncomfortable in play or makes you anxious, anything of that nature, use the X card. Play stops immediately. We briefly discuss the situation, we retcon anything we have to, and move forward, knowing then that that kind of situation makes you uncomfortable. We do everything in our power to avoid it happening again. We are human, mistakes will happen, but it is on us to do our best not to have it happen, and if it does, to rectify it immediately. So that's like the big safety tool. The other one we have is lines and veils. Now, lines and veils are interesting because lines are things where you absolutely refuse to see it in game. Common things are homophobia, police brutality, violence against animals and children, etc., etc., etc. There can also be things like spiders or snakes or things of that nature. Veils are things where you can fade to black. It can happen. We know what happens, but we don't go into playing out the scenario. A lot of things like that are adult content, like sexual relationships, torture, although torture can be a total line too. It kind of depends on the table to table. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend about 5 to 10 minutes, if that, discussing what our lines and veils are so that I know and you know what we can and can't bring to the table, as it were. So does anyone have any initial things?
I would go ahead and just put violence on children as a line.
Okay, absolutely.
Sexual assault is usually a line that I think is just everyone kind of appreciates their being there.
Absolutely. And you'd think that every table would have that, but here we are. Welcome to 2022.
For me, it's, violence against animals, other things that have already been said. And also, I would really, 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 really appreciate no snakes.
All the snakes. Kidding. No snakes.
I literally cannot. I have to hide videos on Facebook because seeing a picture of a snake makes me like, oh my God.
Okay, yeah, we can't be Facebook friends then, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, they've scared me since I was little.
Joey has pets.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I love that people love them. But when I was a kid, I was like 6 years old, went outside, stepped on a perfectly harmless garden snake, realized what I did, freaked out. My shoes sat outside because one of them fell off, like for weeks, because my mom said, I'm not getting it. You need to get over it and go. And I refused to go in the backyard for weeks. So it's a phobia.
No, I totally get it. I have a similar thing with wasps.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any very specific lines that we don't want to cross? There's no wrong answer either. If it's said, it is done. It's kind of, it can be something like, Fig Newtons make me uncomfortable. I don't want to see them in game. Like, and I'm being a little silly by saying that, but it can be anything. This is your time to tell me and the world what will not be allowed in this game.
I guess I don't have anything specific that comes to mind beyond like what you guys mentioned. I feel like we're probably all decent human beings, so we're probably not going to run into anything like that would make me
like
uncomfortable.
No bigoted NPCs that we have to deal with.
Okay, so bigotry.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't really want to like fight my Twitter war while I'm gaming.
That's fair. We will have hateful, evil NPCs, but they won't have anything to do with anyone's race, gender, or sexual orientation. Because as we know in Sailor Moon, gender is just a suggestion.
Unless it's Wednesday and they're not wearing pink, then we can be mean to them.
The line, pink. Dave, do you have any other lines or veils? And does anyone else have any veils? Because I've done pretty much lines so far.
I'm trying to really think about it. Not really too much. I mean, the children thing is always the one that kind of gets me. I've been caught off guard with that one before. And I would say that also, Thomas. You need to make sure that you can't assume that like the line is there. Like you really, it's good just to say it, even if you like assume everyone's a good person. The person's may not be trying to be bad. They may just be like, oh, this is a really riveting story, and so they put that in there to draw attention, not realizing it offends you.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah, that's why it's good to just kind of like say it in the beginning, be like, okay, is it? Blah, blah, blah.
I say that also because I came from the World of Darkness era from the 90s when that was a big thing, and I fully believe that system is probably responsible for a lot of the stuff that's being this. Vampire the Masquerade did a lot of bad things. It's a wonderful game, but it
we
definitely
still
brought
love
some
it though.
issues.
But goodness gracious!
There's a lot of questioning.
So
yeah,
just
no body shaming, obviously. You know, like, come on.
Yeah, could I ask for a veil surrounding specifically eating disorders?
Yeah.
Yes, please. Agreed.
Okay, so it exists, but we might not encounter it. If it does ever come up, it is something that is faded to black. Absolutely. And that is always amendable. That's another thing, Thomas. Any of these lines and veils are always amendable. A big veil for me, so everyone is aware, is sex in games. I don't mind sexy characters. I don't mind characters that have a sexuality. I don't want to sit and roleplay it. It is not my jam.
You make it black.
It should be fade to black. Like, okay, they do it black.
You would be surprised, Stephen.
Oh no, I know you've shown me quite some horrifying things.
I have been in horrifying situations before. It was exalted weirdly. But yeah, there is no right or wrong thing for a veil. And as we're making characters tonight, if anything else comes up, I have a pad here. I will be writing it down. I'll be typing it up and sending it to everyone just so we're all on the same page. Listeners and viewers, keep that in mind. If something comes up for you that makes you uncomfortable, shoot me a message. We'll discuss it and I'll bring it to the rest of the table after game, just so we don't disrupt flow of play, and talk about adding that to our list as well. I realize it's not the best scenario necessarily, but it would get a little difficult with everyone in the chat and everything, but I will do my best to be accommodating for that. So thank you. Do we have any questions so far, everyone?
Can I just thought of one thing. This is not Promethean, so no gore.
I would agree, like body horror and like at least a veil without a line.
Okay, so a veil on body horror, line on gore.
I know what we're getting with Promethean, but I don't know.
That's fair.
Also, City of Mist really isn't that kind of game. I mean, at least not overtly. It's more of a neo-noir detective game. For those of you not familiar listening, I know we probably should have led with that. In it, you live in the city. People come to the city. People sometimes leave the city, but you don't really leave the city. The city is just kind of the city. It's shrouded in mist and neon and districts and supernatural entities
You're a New Yorker.
Around.
It was a dark and stormy night when the blonde walked into my office.
More or less. More or less.
You just described most New Yorkers, I swear.
But in City of Mist, you are playing a rift. So something happened to your character where they had to face the reality of the world they lived in, and it was ripped open. And while it was ripped open, something awoke within them or entered them. It's kind of a nebulous gray area on what exactly happened, but they are now the holder of a fundamental archetype, legend, character, that sort of thing. Now, I like games like this that have a focus. Like if you look at like Scion or something, I like pantheons that relate to each other or having characters all from the same pantheon. I think it really allows you to tell a really structured, focused story. And City of Mist, for me, is no different. There's no right or wrong way to do it, but I got the really cool idea to incorporate it with Sailor Moon. And I got some really wonderful players here who are going to be playing Avatar or riffs of Sailor Moon's scouts. And so we kind of did a little bit of preliminary work, and people have already picked out their initial theme books.
Mhm.
For those of you not familiar with City of Mist, it is kind of the weird love child of fate, empowered by the apocalypse. And that I mean that you're going to always roll 2d6 for your moves, but your bonuses, instead of being tied to stats and individual moves, are all tied to tags that we are going to be working on here. We're going to try to get as many of them done tonight as we can. We might not finish because we also have to do our crew theme, and that's going to be the last thing we do before we kind of wrap up. So let's see. Joey, why don't we start with Mina? I know we've already done one of yours. Which one did we do?
We did her relic, the Crescent Moon Compact.
Right. And do you want to give everyone like kind of a brief rundown of what your tags are?
Yeah, because I totally wrote them down the time we did them.
Oh, you did?
No, I know what they are.
Okay.
I know what they are. It's fine. I just have to get to the relevant part of the book to go through them. Give me 1 second.
That is page 102, my friend.
Thank you.
And everyone, don't worry, we will take a short break, probably around 9:15ish.
Okay.
I want to get a nice like leg on this done.
Okay, so I believe the for the concept, the question is it's a weapon forged to protect the Moon Princess. And let's see the power tags. For the A tag, it was what is the main useful feature or part of your relic, and it was to reflect the moonlight to banish the forces of darkness.
Hot, I love it. That's sexy.
Yeah, and and the second one. Why does it not let me capitalize things on the sheet?
Oh, the characters, some of them do and some of them don't. Just type a letter as best you can.
Yeah, I know. The other tags we went through was what for C, what essential useful quality lies at the core of your relic, and no, it was D. What cosmetic attributes does your relic possess? Which was it has an inconspicuous compact form. If I'm not using it to shoot laser beams, it looks like it's a cute thing that holds makeup. And then the last one we did was what aspect or element of your relic are you only beginning to unlock? And that was revealing true forms.
Perfect. And then your weakness tag?
Yes. What can interfere with the powers of your relic? It requires it needs to be charged in the light of the full moon. No, in the light of the moon. That.
Right. And then the mystery that you were investigating with that.
Yes, I think. Oh God, I know we had some. I think the mystery is what it. God, it had something to do with what the. I think it was who is the true Moon Princess was the mystery.
Yes, I do think that it was something along those lines. If we have to edit it, we will. Yeah. And what did you title your relic?
The Crescent Moon Compact.
Awesome. Okay. So basically, listeners, you're going to have 3 power tags and 1 weakness tag for each of your 4 themes. One of your 4 themes, you don't have to do this, but one of your 4 themes, you can take an extra power tag, but you have to take an extra weakness tag. So how this works mechanically is every tag that applies to a roll and a move, you add +1 to it, unless I give you a weakness tag, and then you deduct 1 from your roll for it. And we'll see more of that in play as we play session to session. Okay, so Thomas, for Marcel, let's go ahead and get started on one of yours. Because we did one of yours the other night, right?
Yes. So my first theme was divination. So it's the mythos theme that we had talked about. So in regard to that, the first, sorry, a little technical here. So the first question was, what allows you to uncannily know things you wouldn't normally know in regard to that? So the idea being that Marcel experiences these fragmented visions that occur. And then the additional question there being what items or substances serve as a conduit for knowledge, and then I had advised fire as that conduit for knowledge in relation to kind of the backstory that exists for Marcel there. And then the additional F in this case, what advantage does your divination give you in a fight? Is that Marcel is a crack shot in a fight? There.
And then your weakness tag?
And then it was what happens when your divination overwhelms you. In this case, Marcel enters a fugue state in regard to that.
Wonderful. Well, not wonderful for Marcel, but wonderful for us. What is the mystery of your divination?
So, in regard to that, Marcel is trying to figure out what is this pain that he can't remember, and in having these like visions, but not being able to clarify their own history.
Excellent. And what did we end up calling your divination?
Just title it Uncanny Intuition.
Perfect. Wonderful. Okay, so I guess that means Dave, you're next. Which we did one together as a group, didn't we?
I don't think I was actually there for that one. I probably was
Right.
working at the time. So I
Right,
kind of feel
right.
like the kid that didn't do his homework.
You're all good. You're all good. You're all good. This is what we're here for. Which of
Um,
your 4 theme books do you want to do first?
I guess we could work with Subversion. I believe that's one of the hallmark of Sailor
Yeah,
Mercury. Or,
let's do it. Let's do it. Subversion. There's Relic.
it also seems to be a bit of an oddity, at least from my encounter with
Okay.
it.
Okay, so subversion is invisibility, trickery and illusions, hypnotism and subtle manipulation, hiding in plain sight, secrecy and counter detection. So how are you kind of in view? What is the concept for this mythos?
I definitely, because I think playing back to the actual Sailor Mercury, I want to say it's always kind of comes up as what, like a mist or a like a fog that is used in the show. So I definitely like to play on that theme of it.
Okay.
So probably masks. I guess it just kind of masks everything for the most. It kind of keeps everything hidden in the area around her. Not sure how that actually mechanically plays into the wording of the tag.
Well, the concept doesn't have a tag. This is just for us to wrap our heads around what you do.
Yep.
But power tag questions.
Okay.
What is the principal ability you use to mask or hide your actions? Would it be summon fog? Would it be
Yeah, I think it'd be like a
um,
summon fog or a mist.
great? Cool. So anytime you're trying to do something where you want to summon a fog or mist with a move, that'll come in, which is really, really cool, especially when you consider that the city of Mist at night is often covered in fog, as are the borders of the city. So that can be really interesting down the line. What of these other power tag questions interest you? You get to pick 2 more.
Okay. So let me see. I guess what useful qualities your main effect have? Is it just hides her movements from others? So I guess it just it completely hides what she's doing from those around her. That's kind
Let's
of the point of it.
maybe
What useful?
let's see. Because that implies you've already summoned the fog. So maybe say something like it allows me to hide in plain sight, or it allows me to move across the city like mist, something like that.
Okay. Oh, so is this sort of like if the fog is not?
Yeah, I mean, because like if the fog is there, it'll help, but if the fog is not there, you also like it implies that
Okay.
this mist gives you like extra dexterity or something like that.
Okay. Um, I kind of like the idea of the move, like through the city with mist. So maybe she's just difficult to remember. She kind of passes unnoticed. Kind of like
Yeah,
that face lost in the crowd sort of effect.
yeah, maybe you could say supernaturally forgettable, which is kind of apt for Amy in the show. I mean, we love Sailor Mercury, but man,
She
she
was a
doesn't
little
get
bit
any
of a shrink.
love.
She was a little bit of a shrinking violet sometimes.
Sometimes we still love her though. We still love her. Okay, what is your last power tag that you want to go with?
Let's see. I have way too many tabs open. Let's see. Let's see. Hmm. See. Trying to see who is most likely to fall prey to your subversive activities. Um.
Where's that one?
It is E.
Ooh, nice.
I know. I like that one. I definitely, especially considering what her other theme book mission will be. I'm just trying to think about how to word this into something. Sorry if I'm taking too much time with this.
No, no, you're fine. You're all good.
Um,
You could go with something like it is extremely effective against enemies of the Moon Kingdom or something completely ridiculous like that.
um, I like that. Something along those lines. Because I know like with her mission theme, she definitely has that like bringing truth to the public and things like that. So actually, I mean, I just don't like referring to people as simple-minded people. That's um, so that's one of the examples I have here, unfortunately.
I work with the
You could
public, so don't worry.
you could say something it is stronger against sleepers, which means that when you use your abilities, people that are not rifts are more affected by it.
Well, that's actually I like that. That stronger against sleepers. That's actually perfect because I could see that against more like big bads, it might not be as effective, which would probably lean into like some show themes as well. So I like that.
Okay, cool.
Stronger
Okay,
against.
so now a weakness tag.
Let's see. Pull that up. Could it be like if somebody actually knows her, or actually,
Well,
or
what,
actually, that's what I'm trying. What's up?
which A, B, C, or D are
Oh,
you picking?
A, what could expose you?
Hmm.
And it would, I think it would be fun to have that sort of because I like the idea that it also plays kind of into that romantic area of Sailor Moon, where it's like if somebody actually sees you or they know you, so like she's no longer forgettable to them.
What if it is what could expose you when people say my real name or something, because you also have your hacker name,
Yeah.
which you probably go by a lot. So it could be something like when people use my real name, it could expose me.
Yep.
Something like
That's
I think that could be interesting.
yep.
Okay, so now what mystery is this theme book trying to ask? Like some examples for the Devil's Advocate. Can I ever find redemption? Puss in Boots is just how rich can I make my client? Keep in mind when exploring, try exploring the following options, seeking clarity about what is real and what is illusory. searching for new ways to subversively advance your mythos's agenda, or moral doubts about using your powers to deceive others. So, what mystery is this theme book in particular trying to solve?
Once again, kind of playing with an overall theme of truth. Maybe something along the lines of like or who should know the truth, or who has a right to the truth.
I like that. Who is a right to the truth? That's really interesting. Cool. Awesome. And then the last thing is title. What do you want to call this theme book? What do you call your subversion?
Um, I was just thinking of like fog or something, but I guess that's a little too
I mean, you could go straight from the source and just call it Mercury Aqua Mist.
That's actually what I was. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Do it.
that's actually Mercury Alchemist. Perfect. Thank you so much.
I love it. Okay, Steven, you're gonna round us out with this first theme book. Which one are you doing?
Is this the one that we did together?
Yeah, so the one we did the other
Great.
night.
Okay, so I went with routine. And I came up with the theme Bunhead because my character is a master baker.
So is this the Logos theme?
It is a
What?
Logos theme, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also told Steven, real quick, sorry to interrupt you, Steven, that it'd be funny to call the theme book Bunhead, as that is what Sailor Moon was called. It'd be a nice little, for those of you not in the know. Okay, Steven,
Yeah, got it.
take it away.
My identity is I'm a baker. I feed the family that I don't have. Okay, and I want to find the original questions in the PDF. Bear with, please.
Page 131, Steven.
I know I have it. I had it pulled up. I just have too many windows open between Twitch, Discord, and both PDFs. One what?
One what?
What page?
131.
131.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so my questions were question A, which is what do you do with your time? I titillate tastefully. My other question was what sort of tools do you use? I use rolling pins. And
I actually love that, Steven. I can see just getting something with a rolling pin.
my assistant Chip usually helps me.
And what is your weakness tag for your daily routine?
A, at the end of your day, what are you left with? Stale goods and loneliness.
Okay.
Wow, dark.
Sailor Jupiter is quite dark, thank you. We love her though. We love all of them except maybe
Left turn.
Shiryu, so. I'm gonna get raked over the coals if anyone ever hears me say that.
Well, lovely. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm a little confused. I've been working on my character the last couple days, and we also came up for me with like defining moment, expression, adaptation, but they're not logos.
Defining moment is a logos, adaptation and expression are mythos.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Oh, I wrote it as moment, but it's event. Durr.
Okay, so before we go on, everyone watching has seen us do one of the 4 theme books for our characters, but we don't really know who these characters are yet.
Mhm.
So why doesn't everyone give like a brief little spiel about who their character is and what happened to make them become a rift? Take it away. Let's go the opposite direction. Let's start with Steven and we'll go backwards down the line.
Scooter is a baker, not that literally has a bakery and loves it, brings great joy, has an assistant named Chip, but unfortunately that they became orphaned in a terrible baking accident because they learned all of their skills from their parents.
Okay.
I totally stole that from Into the Woods. Thank you, Stephen Sondheim.
And what is the name of the bakery? I know we put it on your sheet. It's on the first page.
Yeah, patty cakes.
Cute.
Okay, so Dave, let's hear about Ormi Singh, aka Ripple, aka Sailor Mercury, aka identity issues over here. I love it.
Yes, Ripple is she is a hacker. She very much is more of a hacktivist, very much believing in the truth shall set you free. Trying to uncover all the lovely little plots and goings on of the world around her. This is pretty much how she got into the rift of Sailor Mercury. Just really kind of deep diving and going down those rabbit holes. Kind of she caught the attention of some nefarious types, and from there sort of came to the attention of this particular rift.
Fabulous, fabulous. Okay, Thomas, tell us about Mr. Cross.
Yes. So Marcel is a detective. So to go with that noir theme, and has a tragic backstory, of course. Is a bit of a loner. He experienced a tragedy in his youth where there was a fire, and has been looking for answers ever since. And so now we get to see where that leads this forensic loner detective type.
I love it. Question about the fire. What caught fire? Did you lose any family members?
Yes.
What are the details here?
Yeah, so it was his family's home. So he comes from kind of a well-to-do background, and his family's home went up in flames, and he lost his mother. And of course, his father became extremely distant. So it's tragedy all over.
Well, I don't love that. I love that story. Here we go. Okay, Miss Kim.
Yes. Yes. Mina is a DJ slash life of a party at a swanky karaoke lounge called the Aphrodite Lounge. The party doesn't start till she's there, and she is the party. She is the one to know there. What sort of had her entering this rift of Sailor V ? Is that she was a witness to a robbery, and like a really bad violent robbery, and was helpless to act to intervene in that time until she wasn't.
Nice. Okay, so we have a little bit of an idea of our characters. So let's go ahead and go through a second round of our theme books, and I think we'll probably have time for 2 or 3 of them, and we can do the fourth one-on-one. But if you did a Mythos theme book, I want you to do a Logos theme book, and if you did a Logos theme book, I want you to do a Mythos theme book. So let's start with you, Joey. Which of your? I think you only have one logo.
Yes, I only have one
Logos.
Yes, and my Logos is Turf, which is the aforementioned Aphrodite Lounge.
Okay, the Aphrodite Lounge. Cool.
Yes, so
is Turf at the core book, or is it?
No, that's
Shadows?
That's in the Shadows and Showdowns.
Ooh, look at y'all getting fancy on me. Oh
Hey.
my word.
Yeah. So let's see.
Okay, Turf.
So yeah, the core concept it asks is what is your domain? And I am the head hunt. And I am responsible for the peace, safety, and prosperity and business in the Aphrodite Lounge.
Perfect. Okay. So power tech question A: what area or domain do you control?
I feel like it's the name of the theme. Like, yeah, it's the Aphrodite. It's a karaoke lounge. And all the parties they're in.
I like how you're like the it girl of like City of Mist.
Yeah, I mean, and it's weird. It's also weird. I mean, this is sort of getting more into like the specifics of the character, but like she's definitely more invested in the supernatural side of things than her mundane things. But still, like except for like this one piece, like this being the life of the party here is still like what is important to her.
Well, it's good that you have
Mhm.
some kind of grounding because we can't have you being an avatar just yet.
Yes, yes. Exactly.
Okay, so what are some of the other power tags that you find interesting?
One thing I do like is where is my seat of power located? And I'm gonna say it's the actual DJ booth.
Okay.
Like if you're like if you're approaching the DJ booth when she's like doing her thing, like you better have a damn good reason. That kind of thing.
Hmm.
Is it-
I wonder. I'm almost wondering if we should make A a little broader and have it be the neighborhood and
Okay.
have your seat of power be the Aphrodite Lounge.
Okay, that we can make that work.
I just think that would broaden it a little bit for you, and give you a little
Okay.
bit more to play with.
I
Now, the
mean,
question is,
yeah.
with the area that we're in, the neighborhood that we're in,
Mm-hmm.
that'll tie a lot into our crew theme books, which could be really useful for you.
Okay.
But does anyone have an idea of what we want to call this district? Because I think that Scooter's Bakery is probably close to
Yeah.
the Aphrodite Lounge. So Patty Cake is probably a couple doors down from the Aphrodite Lounge. What do we want to call this district? It's obviously some kind of commercial district. Um, Anyone have any ideas? Want to throw anything out there?
Um, if we want to do like a reference to the source material, can like something with the number 10, because the original manga, like literally the neighborhood was 10th was Azabu Juban meaning 10th Street.
Okay, so why don't we just call the area 10th Street?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So should that be what my turf is, or
Yeah.
or 10th Street or 10th Street nightlife, just to make it a little specific?
I could see
Yeah,
maybe like calling it like the tens, because I know like
Mm-hmm.
where I'm from, you could, like certain areas, like you have like certain districts and stuff, like in New Orleans, where they kind of merge a lot of that kind of style together. I could see some like the tens or something like that.
yeah, why don't we call your domain the tens? I really like that. And I
Okay.
think that'll give you a lot more freedom, especially to be for your like crime fighting capers and everything.
Cool.
So we're gonna have a lot of different districts,
Mhm.
but whenever we're doing something in the tens, you get a +1 to that. But
Okay.
outside of the tens, you kind of lose that little bit of power. And then I like the idea of the seat of your power being the Aphrodite
Mhm.
Lounge itself. So whenever you're in there and it being in the tens, you're essentially getting a +2 to your rolls.
Okay. Yeah,
Right off
I
the
can dig
bat.
that.
Yeah.
I can dig that.
Okay.
That makes sense. And I need one more. Um, what advantage do you have over the competition in your turf? And I'm gonna say I'm the life of the party.
I love it. I love it. Hmm, okay, now weakness tag question.
Yes. Let me jump back to that other PDF real quick.
For some reason, I'm
Um,
reminded of like, what was it, that TikTok sound they had where it's, oh, like something about like competitions. Like, I didn't even know we were competing. It's like, what advantage do I have? I didn't even know we were
yeah.
competing.
Okay. Let me just. Okay. What negative quality or what negative behavior or quality did you develop in your role as a leader? And I'm going to say an inflated sense of importance.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Well, calling yourself out tonight, Miss Kim. Okay, here we go. What are you calling the identity? Some examples are in Cross End, my word is the last word. We're here to do
Um,
the science, groundbreaking science of the head of Helix facility. I think it'd be something cool like I am the it girl of the tens or something like that.
um, I'm going to tweak that slightly. I'm saying it's not a party in the tens unless I'm there.
Love it. And then you just have to title it now.
Yeah. Yes. Let's just do nightlife in the tens.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Thomas, we're going to do logos for you now.
Yeah. Um, so I was going to go with training is one of the options that I chose for the logos. Um, I'm just playing with screens here.
This will get
So
easier moving forward, everyone. Character creation's the hard one.
so in regard to this, the idea being that Marcel trained in forensics, like has a degree in forensics, as part of like their trying to figure things out there. So in the first question, of course, being what do you do or know best? I guess that is forensics,
Perfect.
if I'm
Yep.
understanding. And then and also I just like I did a lot of this ahead of time to cure my anxiety, so I'm
You're
not just
all
like
good.
fast.
You're all good. You're all good.
So what the next one I did was C. What other tangent field have you ventured into indirectly? And I said pyrotechnics because they're like, they got kind of like into like, figuring out like fire and things like that. And so like pyrotechnics became like a weird, like adjacent concept that they kind of wormholed into.
I love it. I love it.
I'm
Oh, that's
imagining like
messy. I'm into it.
a Wikipedia binge at some point.
And then you made your first bomb. I mean, firework. It was truly a firework, I promise.
Exactly. And then E, what quality or trait did your training foster? And I set an extreme attention to detail because that's, of course, in studying forensics and like kind of all of that, that would be like super, critical in achieving success in that.
Okay.
In regard to the weakness tag, was looking at option B. How did your training adversely affect your psyche or body? In this case, kind of going in the psyche direction of being like overly methodical. And so needing those like particular like lines of inquiry to work in order for his brain to cue in and kind of get those things
Absolutely.
there.
Okay, and then the identity itself is what?
So I was kind of going with the identity being like every detail matters. So like being super
Methodical.
but I guess there's another word I'm like not finding at the moment, but like just like super like detail oriented and like neurotic. That's the word I'm looking for.
Wonderful.
You can see this plays into some of my personal strengths. And so I guess I titled it just Lab Rat Loner, because like the idea being like he's already like a loner kind of personality, and like forensics being kind of like that like idea.
I'm into it.
So that was kind of where it came from there.
Perfect. Okay, Dave, you're up. We're doing a logos theme for you now.
Okay, so here's where we pump the brakes. So I go with mission.
Mission. Let me get to that real quick.
119, I believe. At least on my PDF file here.
Perfect. Okay. What is Ripple's mission?
Um, this is the kind of the hacktivist profile or
Yep.
identity, I think. To uncover the truth. I don't know if it's something where we can really do like uncover the truth of the city of mist or something like that, but
I would, when you're looking at the concept where it says this city needs blank, I would just say the city needs the truth. I think
yeah.
that sums up kind of what you're doing, and it ties back into the city of mist itself, so we'll have some things to play with there. So let's go with A. What do you need most in order to carry out your mission?
Probably access to the internet. Yeah, I would say definitely because this is the hacktivist, so internet, some form of access. So she definitely needs like either the cell phone or a laptop, so access to the internet.
Why don't we just say maybe a computer? And we'll go into the understanding that a smartphone is a computer.
Okay.
Does that work for you?
Certainly.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
So you have two more that you get to pick from.
I was looking at what sort of tactics or methods do you employ to reach your goal? Probably a lot of snooping around.
Okay. And the
Yeah.
beautiful thing about that is it doesn't just have to be on the computer because you're naturally like mischievous and like snooping where you shouldn't be.
Hmm.
You can also do that in other areas too because you're just inclined to be that way. So snooping around really works.
She definitely dumpster diving.
Okay, and what's your third power tag?
Um, I'm not sure if I understand the what useful position or status did you have to earn for the mission to succeed. I do like the fact that like Ripple as a persona on the internet probably might have like some equivalent like street cred among like other groups. So I'm not sure if that's kind of what that question or question H goes into.
Yeah, I think instead of calling it street cred, call it net cred.
Okay.
And that way we can tie in that Ripple identity that you have, where when you're like hacking and you like need help from other hackers for something, you can get on the internet and say, "This is Ripple. Do my bidding, bitch," and like people will do it because, well, theoretically, will do it depending on your role because you're applying your net cred to that. And in some real life circles, like maybe the Aphrodite Lounge has like a gamer night or something
Mm.
that could apply to because gamers be like, "Oh my god, that's Ripple." No, no, it's not. It can't be her. It absolutely is her. Oh my god, she's so hot. Who knows? I don't know.
The guy
Okay, so
hospital.
so what is your weakness tag that you like?
Um, I like to. You might have to help me flesh like something like kind of conspiracy theory to me. Maybe like she tends to go down like rabbit holes a bit, like starting to like make connections where there may not actually be connections. So I
Okay,
kind of like
so
the idea.
I think D is probably the best.
Mm,
Why have you not succeeded so far? Maybe you make what's the word I'm looking for? Because I do this in gaming all the time. Well, I just
mm.
assume something's real and I run with it till someone says we can't assume facts that aren't there. How to better phrase that though?
I would say like I'd
Um,
say like chasing rabbit holes.
I, that's perfect. Chasing rabbit holes, and that's also a clue to you if I give you that weakness tag that you're chasing rabbit holes a
Mhm.
little bit too. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of play in there. Okay, so you choose an identity for this theme, an absolute statement of what captures an attitude, motive, or belief related to your mission. Oh, we are on mission, right? Yes. So how do you sum up your mission? And
Um,
it could very well be that the city needs the truth. But it's up to you on how you want to phrase that.
yeah, I think this is the one where I had difficulty, but it's like a drive. Um, yeah, I mean, it really is like the city needs a kind of that truth will set you free, or people need the truth kind of identity to it.
Maybe say the truth will set you free and I'm the one to give it.
Mm, mm,
Hmm.
And then you just have to title it. And I think this could be a really cool way to incorporate Ripple. Like
I mean, right now I
maybe,
think I just have hacktivist written on it, but
oh, Hacktivist works too.
mm,
Hacktivist absolutely works. Perfect. Okay. So that is mission. That there was no break pumping. We got through that very quickly.
mhm.
Steven, why don't we go ahead and do yours and then we'll take maybe a 10-minute break? Because that way we've had two of everyone done.
Sounds good.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I've actually been working on mine like Thomas, so I can just take us through one.
Are you doing
So the
adaptation?
uh sure. Um my theme is a scintillating shifter because I manipulate others with my delicious goods.
Wait, this we're doing adaptation, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure it's on the right page. Okay,
okay.
so the concept was scintillating shifter.
Yeah, because I can kind of like change people with my baked goods. No.
No, we can make that work. I mean, yeah, okay, cool. Let's go with it. What mythos power allows you to respond differently to every situation? Now, let's try this into like Sailor Jupiter a little bit more. She did cook a lot. Maybe because of that you have like a supernatural endurance, strength, dexterity, something like that, maybe?
Okay.
So what mythos power allows you to respond differently to every situation? Maybe call it super physiology? Or is
Okay.
that too broad? If that
No,
I feel
that's
like that might
fine.
be I feel like that might be a little too broad.
That's
Um
fine. Where is this going?
this would be your power tag questions. So
Oh,
for
you're
A.
asking. Oh, I had already picked mine, but okay.
Oh, what did you pick? What did you pick? Tell me.
I'm trying to find the damn page again.
It's 83.
Thank you. I know my first question was A, and I'm just not there. Okay. Oh yeah, there it is. Well, I guess then I did this wrong. I was thinking about my baking. Okay, so we'll go with super strength. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, remember your mythos are going to be tied to
Yeah.
Sailor Jupiter specifically.
Okay.
And we can incorporate the baking. I think the super strength will play into that, especially because you have to knead your dough. And
Okay.
sometimes the dough is someone's face.
Okay.
But we can apply it to both of those things too. So kind of keep that in mind.
Okay. Uh my next one was what specific class of things or beings can you produce or summon? And I chose decoys of myself. I wrote 2 scooters are better than 1.
I like that. And I think there's not 100% precedent for it, but we can make that work. I like it. I actually really like that. That's neat. Okay,
Okay, and
cool.
I now need to rethink my third one.
What was your third one that you liked? The question.
It was what strategy or combination effects do you employ in battle? But I just need to rethink it now.
You
Shall
know,
we let me think it on break?
I'm
Okay, all right, just give me a second.
well, something that could be really interesting, especially with your super strength and the fact that you had lightning powers, could be this deflect and dazzle because you
I
could
was thinking about that too, so I'll go with that.
okay, and that way you could the deflect and dazzle could also be like you cook a lot, so you could be like throwing out like rose hips or something like that, like because she had plant powers too. So the baking thing totally works. We're just kind of shifting it a little bit. Your ideas are good. We just have to make sure they like they mesh well and everything. But we're good. We're good. So what is the weakness tag question we want to go with?
D, where is it? What bad habits do you pick up due to your adaptive powers? And I said I am quick to temper.
I like that. That works. Cool. And what mystery are you trying to solve with this adaptation? Like, why do you have this super strength and the ability to dazzle and double yourself for more flavor?
So that I can make sure that I can protect those I love from ever dying in a horrific accident again.
So how do we form that into a question? How do I best protect the ones I love? Maybe? Unless you
Okay.
have a better idea. Unless you have a better idea?
No, that's fine.
Okay. And then what do we want to call your adaptation?
I'm not sure.
What were oh, what were some of Jupiter's powers names? Because I think there's one that could actually really work.
The one that seems to, oddly enough, this one that I'm sorry, I'm showing my like weeb really hard right out of the bat. But the one that I think fits for this specific one, based on what was picked, is a coconut cyclone.
Oh, I love that. Oh yeah, that's actually really cool.
Okay, so that's my identity, right?
That is the title.
Oh, the title. Sorry. Okay.
Your identity is how do I protect the ones I love? Coconut
I
Cyclone.
thought that was my mystery.
That's your mystery, yes. But identity, mystery it's all the same line. It's identity for Logos, mystery for Mythos.
Yeah,
Got it.
the
Okay,
title
sorry.
is just the thing below the type. If you're looking at the
Okay.
sheet, it's like the second
Yeah,
and
no,
third
I
line.
see that. Thank you.
Okay, so everyone, we've gone through 2 themes each. When we come back, we're going to do that third one, see what our time looks like, and then maybe do the fourth one. But if not, definitely do the crew theme, and then we'll kind of gauge it from there. We are going to take a 10-minute break. It is 9 o'clock right now, so why don't we come back at 9:10? Let me make sure Kim knows we're doing this. 10-minute break. Perfect. And we'll be back in 10 minutes, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good time. Y'all are doing such a wonderful job. I know I'm excited to see these characters in play. And see you in 10. Bye.
In 10.
You're back. Hi.
Hey.
Fabulous. Hello, everyone. We're welcome back. We are going to go ahead and start on our third round of theme books, and then we're going to kind of gauge the time, and we might do the crew theme book then, and then if we have enough time to do the fourth one, we'll get into it. But we're going to start from the back moving forward. So, Scooter, you're up.
Okay. Again, I worked on my characters already, so let's go with my defining event, if that's okay.
Absolutely. What is the concept for your defining event?
Cool. I said earlier, the defining event for my character is a baking accident that orphaned them, and it kind of destroyed the main part of the bakery, but not all of it. Thank God for insurance. The bakery was saved, but now Scooter has to run the bakery. So Scooter loves baking because it was the gift that their parents gave them. However, unfortunately, it's also the bane of Scooter's existence because it reminds them of their death of their parents.
Noted. That's tragic. And something I always wondered about Sailor Moon is who in the hell did she live with? She was like 14 and she just lived alone. Make it make sense. They never defined it. It was the most bizarre thing. Anyways, Scooter is older than 14, everyone. All of our characters are over the age of 18. You're welcome. It's not weird anymore. Steven, question A. What kind of strong emotion did your defining event leave you with?
Like my mystery identity?
No, this is your power tag question.
Oh, well, I already did them. Can I tell you what I did?
Please.
Okay, so I did question C.
You have to do A.
Was?
You have to do A first.
Oh, yeah, I didn't do A. Okay. Well,
Did you do three others though, Steven? Because this could be your one where you have 4 power tags if you want.
perfect. We'll do that then. Okay.
Okay, so
So what
A.
kind of strong emotion did your defining event leave you with? A bitter rage.
Okay, cool.
Or a taste for
Justice,
well,
revenge.
an accident. Oh, but what if okay. What if the accident I'm convinced was caused by a warring baker? And so I have a taste for revenge. No?
Whether or not it's true or not, you could still have a taste for revenge. Go for it.
Okay, cool. All right. I also did C. What mundane but useful object did you obtain during your defining event that has been with you ever since? My mother's rolling pin. Question H. What approach to life did you adopt following your defining event? Every dessert could be your last.
Oh, I love that.
And then
Like
B.
just desserts.
B. What part of your old self, while deeply changed, still serves you? My unending curiosity.
Cool. Okay, so now your weakness tags, because you chose that 4th power tag, you're gonna have to do 2 weakness tags.
Oh, okay, cool. So the one I chose so far is D. What is now broken within you physically or mentally due to your defining event? And I put that I struggle to get close to others.
Okay. Cool.
And I guess I'll go with responsibilities after the defining event that I struggle on my shoulders. So I guess I'll go with running a business.
Put running patty cakes.
Running patty cakes. Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so now we just have to.
I know. Keeping patty cakes open.
Oh, that's good. And I can play a lot with that.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you. So what is the identity of this logos?
I am an orphaned patissier.
Okay.
And then for title I put bereft baker.
Cool. I'm into it.
And the theme was the oven exploded.
Got it. Perfect. Wonderful.
Teal.
Okay. Ripple, we have done your mission. We have done your subversion. So it's your other mythos, which is a relic, correct?
Yes, I believe we gone with the glasses.
Sure. Which will also play into your other power tags of always having a computer or needing a computer, for the record.
Yep. Yeah, this
Okay.
one.
So basically, your concept are like these supercomputer glasses.
Yep. It's kind of a
Okay.
high-tech visor looking thing. I guess.
So power tag A.
So what is the main useful feature? Access. She can pretty much see, um, almost see the internet, pretty much, or see code around her. So it gives her access to the internet at pretty much all times, like while she's wearing
Yeah.
underwear.
So
Uh,
it lets me see code,
yep.
or lets me interpret code, or
Yep.
something like that. I'll trust your judgment on that one. Like, I think we're on the same page with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do 2 more power tags.
Over Matrix there. Let me see. Let's see. I've been playing with a couple of once more too many tabs. It's gonna go with my tombstone. Too many tabs.
Mine is going to be, can someone bring me a Diet Coke?
My favorite one I've ever seen on a tombstone was somebody wrote on their tombstone, "I told you I was sick." I was like, that is the ultimate guilt trip.
Wow.
Every time you go to visit them, you're reminded, "I told you I was sick." Let me
Wow,
see.
okay.
It's yeah, it's that nice morbid humor there. Um, you see.
Mine is just going to quote Dorothy Parker. I'll come out eventually.
Let me see. What is I could probably do like what is revealed to you through the use of your relic. F.
Okay.
But I don't know if we really want to go with the code part.
Hmm.
Probably something along the lines of like interconnectedness, or pretty much like the connection between areas. I could just
Why
because she's
don't you
looking
just why don't you say something like fundamental connections between 2 things?
Okay, that works.
And it could show you ties between people in a building, ties between objects. It just allows you to like analyze data. It gives another way to analyze data
Mhm.
about connections, and it can be a little bit woo-woo metaphysical. I'm into it.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so we have one more,
All
right?
right. Let's see where we go. Let me see. Hmm. Where are we going? What's this one? Let me see. I'm not sure. What is this overdrive? Like it says, what happens when your relic goes into overdrive?
That has to do with experience and stuff.
Okay. I mean, I kind of like that idea. I could definitely see like this, because I mean, like, it seems kind of like it has a nice function to it, especially for her. But I could definitely see like maybe it starts to actually do more to affect the reality around her.
Well, we're playing with this idea of you being a hacker, and
Yep.
hackers like break in and code. What if the when it goes into overdrive, it can rewrite reality?
Yeah, that's definitely kind of like going along the lines I was thinking.
Now,
That's
I will say that we're gonna have to hammer out some fundamental rules of reality that it
Mhm.
can't break.
oh yeah.
Um, like probably no bringing anyone back from the dead. Probably no outright erasing someone from reality. Probably no drastic personality changes. Like you can't make a villain into like an innocent good guy. But there's a lot of wiggle room still left in that, so that's really cool. I like that. That's neat. Okay, so now a weakness tag.
Um, let's see. Maybe I mean, while it can see code, it still has to. I'm trying to think. Let's see. Let me look what they have here. Hmm. maybe the glasses can be like, since they are always connected, they can actually be hacked as well. So I mean, they're connected to the code, so maybe somebody that has the same access to that code can also, because it says what can damage or destroy your relic. Maybe they can be hacked.
That's really cool. I like that. And that's really dangerous because what happens if you're connected to it while it's hacked?
Yep.
You could become possessed and a villain for a while.
Uh-oh.
Who knows?
Is this
I don't know.
my punishment if I ever miss a game?
Dave can't make it. Sailor Mercury's gone evil. Welcome, everyone.
Oh no, it's the live action show all over again.
I need to see it someday. I'd really love to.
You know, it's janky, it's choky, but it's good. Like
kind of like Power Ranger, Mighty Morphin Power Ranger season 1, kind of janky, kind of cheap, but you love it anyway.
Very much, very much. And the acting is rough in like the first like dozen or so episodes, but they do get better.
I've been watching Power Rangers season 1, and the acting was so rough for like the first 20 episodes. I'm on episode 49 now because apparently season 1 had 60 episodes. Make it make sense. But the acting definitely got better. By the time they got that movie in around season 2, the acting was actually filmable.
I was like, get them an acting coach.
Okay, so what mystery is your relic trying to solve, Dave?
Oh, so we already have like who gets the truth. I mean, maybe something along the lines of like what is I don't know if I want to go all metaphysical here. Let's just not.
Oh, I did. You should.
I mean, like what is reality? Because if it can actually rewrite reality, and you're looking at the world as a code, so maybe it is more like what is reality? What is real? I mean, I guess that blends into the truth idea as well.
A little bit. I think those might be a little too similar conceptually, but let's kind of invert it maybe. Where you are with your mission wanting to get the truth out there, and you're with your, what is your mystery for your subversion?
Who has the right to the truth?
What if the glasses, the mystery is something like, what is my place in reality? Because if you can see code and know it's all movable, I think that would make, and with your other kind of identities and mysteries, it's like all dealing with like fundamental questions. So I feel like this ties in on a more personal level. Like, what is my place within this greater scheme of truth and everything?
I like that too. It also plays into the Mercury Mist where she is forgettable. So you've got this weird sort of person who probably has like that identity crisis of, do I even matter, or am I even part of this system?
Okay, so now we just need a title for it.
Wasn't there an actual? I'm gonna lean on our resident Sailor Moon aficionado. Wasn't there a title for her glasses? I think they were an actual thing.
Yeah. I think they just call. I remember at least in the dub they just called it a VR visor. I don't know if it had, but also, but I don't know if there was like a more specific word for it.
Let's see.
Because she definitely had like she would twist her earring, like the visor would appear over her face.
Yep. So probably something like the I don't think
it was called the Mercury goggle or the Mercury visor.
It's called. Can we just use that as the title or the?
Yeah.
Mercury visor.
Or Mercury goggles, whichever one you like better.
I go with the visor's a little more hacker-ish, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Thomas, you're up, and now we're doing your other mythos, correct?
Correct.
The familiar. So listeners, the familiar isn't one of the core book. Excuse me, I had a hiccup. One of the core book themes. It comes from Shadows and Showdowns, which is basically the player's guide / expansion. I think Turf came from there too.
Yes.
Earlier.
Turf with a U, by the way. Turf is spelled with a U.
Turf with a U. 100%.
Trans women are women, and trans men are men.
I literally just was like, wait, what? Did somebody mention you like she who will like not be named? I was like, what just happened?
Well, regardless,
Not
we're
in
not
my
British. You can't
house.
sue us.
Trans rights are human rights.
Yeah.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, 100%. And not being British, she can't sue us. So that's a double bonus. Thomas,
Which
we are doing your
means J.K. Rowling is transphobic. Huzzah! She is also an anti-Semite. Sue me.
familiar.
Familiar.
There's not a great
Okay.
segue from that. So I'm just gonna dive in.
So we talked
The
about this a little bit, Thomas, and
yeah,
Sailor Mars had the ravens at her shrine. She had Phoebos and Deimos, and we're kind of playing into that,
correct.
if I remember correct. Okay, so that's the concept of it. Let's start with our power tags. A, what is your familiar's main trait, ability, or power?
So I went with to bestow wisdom. So like they're able to like give me information in some form
Insightful
or
way.
fashion. Yes.
Cool. Very cool.
And then I went with the next one being option I. How do you and your familiar work together? And I went with they guide me through darkness. So looking at that from like a more literal perspective.
Okay.
And then the next one being J. What does your familiar symbolize in its mythos? And we talked about preternatural clarity in regard to that. And then this is my big
Oh, this is your one
hey.
with extra tags. Awesome.
Ooh.
Oh, I actually didn't have one with like extra tags. So, but slash if I need to have one with an extra tag, is that like a requirement?
You
Slash
don't have to. You don't have
okay,
to do it. It's completely optional.
okay. But I guess this being a high class help me, I guess I was like really just struggling with like a weakness tag on this
Okay.
one. Like,
Did we
um,
have anything? Did you have anything that like immediately stuck out to you?
honestly, I really, I'm not sure. Um, I don't know, somewhere in the 20 hours of this, I like just could not come up with a weakness tag. So,
Hmm.
um, I guess, um, I don't
I
know if
think
there's
I'll just ask, like, because I'm relatively new to this too, like you, Thomas. Was there a weakness tag question that stuck out to you the most? And then maybe like, if that's the case, it's you might be able to find the weakness easier.
um
Because like for me, I find that the if I really read the questions a couple times, it helps me, and I can like focus in on that. Sorry if I'm overstepping. I'm just
oh
as a
no, you're
newbie
fine.
too, for any newbies watching.
Um I guess for me, like the um what like kind of the B option, like what prevents your familiar from being helpful or distracts it. I
okay.
felt like that might be something to like
Cool.
go
Let's
with.
let's play with it a little bit. So these two ravens, these spiritual ravens that have found you and probably annoy the shit out of you sometimes because they're just loud. They give you wisdom when you're a little lost and confused. They can guide you through darkness. And what was the third one?
They have like a they help provide like clarity in regard
Clarity.
to yeah.
Right. So, in what way all these gifts they're giving you, how is it sometimes not useful? Like, what is the weird part about it? Do they do they send you information in the form of like images? Is it they squawk at you and you have to interpret that? Do they bring you shiny objects that you have to interpret meaning from? Like, in what way is their information more difficult to access?
Well, I kind of figured it would kind of line up with those like fragmented visions I kind of referenced with like the divination. So it kind of in that wheelhouse.
Okay.
I don't know if that works.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I kind of misguided you. I misread that question. It gives you this information. What causes it to become unhelpful or distracted? Do shiny objects distract it? Is external stimuli something that they can't handle? Is it you have to be outside? Like, do they not come to you when you're inside a building? Do they require payment? Like, what is something that they do that makes it more difficult for you?
Um, um, I don't know. I'm kind of blanking.
Does anyone
Uh,
have any ideas that might be able to help Thomas a little bit?
I could see maybe maybe you have to give them information. Like maybe you have to give them information. Like maybe it's kind of an exchange. It's like because ravens are kind of known for being that sort of crafty and cunning. Maybe you have to give them some like gossip or information that you may not normally discuss.
Yeah, I was gonna add, like, I like the payment idea. With ravens, they when you I don't know if anyone's been to the Tower of London, but they used like ravens as guards and they're super trained.
Mhm.
And so it's just kind of, I feel like they need some kind of reward for what they're doing. It's like a transaction in order to, does that make sense?
Yeah.
yeah, that
That well.
Mhm.
yeah, I think that actually could be. Um,
Make it comical and offer them baked goods, and that has to come from someone's particular bakery.
Or even they
Yeah.
want something particularly shiny.
hmm
I
You
like
could,
the
you
gossip idea because ravens chatter.
Mhm.
Those are birds that talk a lot.
Yeah. They even have like regional like variations in
Yeah,
their
I
calls.
kinda like the gossip idea, and I guess, like, I don't know, this is up to Logan, but, like, couldn't the gossip even be mundane?
It could, and that could give you a really interesting reason on why you become friends with Mina Kim, because you
Mm.
need gossip to get the information you need. But you could also
yeah,
frame it in something broader as like requires payment. And that payment could be a lot of different things. It could be gossip. It could be the occasional cookie from patty cakes. It could be financial information that Ripple got for you that you shouldn't have access to because it's from the dark web, and how dare you access that as a police detective? So it
yeah.
could be something like that.
I guess, and I like that a lot. I guess this kind of where I'm not sure where that would go though in regard to these like options.
Oh, well, what prevents your familiar from
I
being helpful or distracts it? Not being paid is could be how you do it, or like they require, or
I mean, it's kind of funny in a sense if you think about your character as this loner aspect to them, and the Raven's like, well, I'm not helping you unless you tell me who Nancy's dating over there. Now all of a sudden you're at the water cooler trying to be social.
yeah.
you know what you could do, Thomas, is question D. What negative habit or behavior did you pick up from your familiar? Everything is a transaction.
Mm.
And that means that you have to
Oh,
do this
yeah.
payment thing with them, but then you view life as in this like constant series of transactions.
Mm.
Tit for tat. I scratch your back, you scratch mine, that sort of thing. So like someone doing you a favor probably fucks with your head a little bit.
Oh, I like that a lot actually.
See, and Thomas, like we've talked a lot over the past few weeks. This is the beauty of like building a character together. Like we would not have come up with that idea on our own. It was that discussion about like, well, what are these ravens? Like, what problems does this raven cause for you? That we all kind of came with together. So there we go. What mystery are your ravens trying to help you solve?
Well, I guess my kind of take on the mystery was like thinking about like what are the ravens keeping from me, because like they give me all this information, but I'm still trying to figure out like answers to like my tragedy, and like why don't the ravens give me that information, you know? I don't know if that works.
Well, we can frame that because questions you have because of your familiar, or what truths are they, or what secrets are they keeping from me? Could be a good way to frame that. I think we're all kind of like in agreement on that, right?
Yeah, I think that works.
Perfect. And then the title, we kind of already have the name for it. It's Phoebos and Deimos.
Yeah,
So
that works. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now, Joey, what do you want to do next? Expression or subversion?
I think subversion is probably the more interesting one because that's also my extra tag one.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So Thomas and Dave, Joey's about to do his extra tag one. If there's one that you want to do it for, think about it. We'll do that right before we do the crew theme, and I think we'll probably have to do the last themes individually, but we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
So let's get started on subversion for you.
Cool. Do you want me to start with the power tags?
Well, why don't you tell us what it is first?
Okay, cool. Yeah, the title of it is Mask of Victory. Because
Okay,
Sailor
cool.
V had her mask.
And what is the concept behind the Mask of Victory?
Basically the idea is when she has when she's masked, when she's being Sailor V, because that's not exactly who she really is, she can just appear out of nowhere and is only noticed when she wants to be. And when
Okay.
she wants to be noticed, she is noticed.
So it was like the opposite of Sailor Mercury in some way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, cool. Okay, so let's start with power tags.
Yes.
What is the principal ability you use to mask or hide your actions?
Appearing from nowhere at a moment's notice.
Cool. And your other three.
Yes.
Wow.
I went with C. What useful quality does your main effect have? And I just described this as beautiful mystery. Is that okay?
Yes, we might have to tweak it a little bit in play. Let's see how it goes first. I think it'll work.
Yeah, I'm open to that.
But we'll figure that out.
Cool. The next one I went with E. What is most like? Wait, no, that's the wrong one. I just labeled it wrong. 1 second. I'm sorry. I apologize. Oh, yes, H. What is unlikely to affect you thanks to your powers? I went with masked true identity. That one seemed kind of obvious.
Okay.
And the other one I did was J, which was what other tangential subversive power have you developed? And I just wrote demand attention. That's the like halt evildoers in the in the name of the moon I'll punish you kind of deal.
Okay.
Cool.
Weakness tag questions.
Yes, in weakness tag. Okay, so I went with
we get 2.
Yes, I went with C. Who or what are you hiding from? And I just wrote, and I put my true destiny.
Ooh, okay, that'll be fun to play with.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I went with D. What disadvantageous psychological tendencies have you developed in the shadows or behind your mask? And I put overly tied to my alter ego.
Ooh, okay. So like when that might come back to bite you in the butt.
Oh, I know.
You know that now.
That is what that I'm counting on it. Actually, I am actually counting on that.
Fabulous, wonderful. Okay, what is the mystery for this theme?
The mystery of this theme is: can you escape destiny?
Awesome. And what is the title?
The title is Mask of Victory. Mask of Victory.
Perfect. Okay. Before we go into, wow, we did that really fast. Awesome. Before we go into the crew theme, which will be the first, I believe it's on the first page of the character sheet. It's a little.
I just want to say, I feel like we could probably get through all 4 because I've already done all of mine. I don't know about anybody else, but that might like help speed it up.
Well,
So why don't we go ahead and do the 4th then? It's only 9:40. We want to
Okay.
end by 10:30, 10:40 at the absolute latest. I think we have enough time.
Okay.
Joey, why don't we start with you?
I'm sorry, but we need to watch Daddy on The Last of Us. Like, Daddy is waiting. Pedro Pascal. He is waiting, that handsome daddy. Sorry.
Okay, so Joey, let's go ahead and get started with expression.
Cool. Do you want the title first?
No, let's save the title for last.
Okay, cool.
What is the concept for it though?
The concept for this is she can manifest a gleaming chain of hearts. She can use to whip people, tie people up. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Wonder Woman. What is the most common way you use your mythos to affect the world?
Chains of light.
Cool. Okay. And what are your other 2 power tags?
Cool. I went with see what useful quality does your main effect have, and I wrote binding evildoers. And the other one I went with was F, what special variants or specific uses of your main mythos form of expression have you mastered? And I went with Wink Chain Sword, so she can use it as a sword as well.
Sorry, there was a siren. I muted myself. Very cool. And your weakness tag?
The weakness tag is you can't bind a broken heart.
Ooh.
Which I went with. That's the A question, which is wrong tab. I'm sorry. We all have too many tabs.
What situations or conditions weaken or suppress your mythos' expression?
Yes.
Wow. So what does our erstwhile Sailor V think of a villain who might have a broken heart? That'll be interesting to see in game.
Indeed.
Dun, dun, dun. What is your mystery for your expression?
The mystery is I went a little more personal with this one, and it's who is worth fighting for.
Love it. And the title, I'm assuming, is Venus Love Me Chain.
I wrote Love Me Chain because because the mythos is Sailor V ? Not Sailor Venus, or is it?
Right.
Or is it?
Or is it? Okay, perfect. So, Thomas, Marcel, we have a defining moment.
Yes.
So what happened to you that changed your life forever?
The aforementioned fire that took my darling mother from me. And so kind of figuring out the mystery of, how that happened. So in looking at the first tag there, what kind of strong emotion did your defining event leave you with? I said sadness. I don't know if that's like too broad or it kind of feels broad.
I think it might be a little too broad, but I'm wondering if, based on some of the things you've said, what if it was something like, what kind of strong emotion did it leave you with? And you're kind of a loner. What if I can do it on my own? You said I'm just trying to, because I'm trying to like play up that isolation a little bit. And I think the sadness thing is cool. I mean, it's not cool. It makes me sad that Marcel's sad like that. But I think that's more of like maybe a role-playing tick rather than a tag.
Okay.
Like it's almost like a character choice rather than something that you could get a power from. Because these are your power tags. I want you to be able to do something or use them in ways that like amplify your roles. So I think I can do it on my own. Like if you choose to charge out after making a plan, of course, on your own, you'll get that +1 for it. But it can also have potential to bite you in the ass too a little bit.
Yeah. So I guess like independence, kind of. Like strong. 'Cause it's like asking for like an emotion, so I guess I'm trying to kind
Yeah.
of.
How about say a sense of unwavering independence?
Okay.
And just so everyone knows, sometimes I feel like people can be a little hard ass about tags. If you can justify to me in a conversation why the tag is appropriate, 99% of the time I'm going to say yes. If it's something completely bizarre, I will roll my eyes and I might say yes. And if it's completely like not appropriate, you'll know. And you'll know before you ask. I trust all of you. Okay. What are the other
Yeah.
two power tags you were thinking of?
So I went with option C. What mundane but useful object did you obtain during your defining event that has been with you ever since? I went with a lighter. So that's kind of also part of the mystery is like, how did like Marcel end up with this lighter? Like, and there was a fire. Like,
I'm into it. And what's really
uh,
cool is if I'm just looking at your sheet here real quick. You need fire for divination, so therefore you're always gonna, or you don't need always need it, but fire is a conduit for your divination. So having that
right.
lighter gives you a +2 on that roll automatically because you have this lighter, like your lucky lighter or special lighter or whatever you want to call it, but that works. What is your third power tag that you were going with?
So I'm going with H. What approach to life did you adopt following your defining event? And I went with like extreme loner.
And that
Um,
and that ties in with the other tag too, but they're different enough. I feel like um, that they'll apply to different situations while sometimes applying to both.
okay.
Okay. And then
Um,
your weakness tag?
so I went with option D. Like, what is now broken within you physically and mentally due to your defining event? I wrote that Marcel doesn't trust no one. I don't know if that.
Reframe that to doesn't trust easily.
Okay.
That'll, in the long run, I think, like, it is a weakness tag and it'll come up. Actually, that one will come up quite a bit probably, but I don't want it to always come up because I don't want to always be like throwing a weakness on you. Okay. Cool. Okay, did you decide which of your theme books you wanted to have the extra tag with, or do you not want to do it? You don't have to.
I think I'm not doing that because
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Okay, Dave, you are up, and it is time for your training. Oh,
Yep.
wait, we're not done. We're not done. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
yes.
What is the
Um,
identity of your logos, Thomas?
so I was going with because of like the circumstance, Marcel feels like guilt. So I was saying like my guilt is me. I don't know if that's like a
I like that. I like that because there's probably nothing for Marcel to actually feel guilty about, but it's an interesting. They feel guilty, or he feels guilty about it. I'm into that.
yeah.
That's cool. And what are we calling it? What is the title?
Um, did I start the fire? I don't know if that's too like
Why don't we make the identity I might have started the fire? And then what did you have written in identity? My guilt is me.
yeah.
Make that the title. I think that works a
Okay.
little better. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Dave, let's
Yeah.
go on to your training.
All right. So this is going to be dealing with the computers aspect of the character, and
Yes.
I am a master of computers. Um, I guess
Okay,
there
cool.
we go to A. What do you do or know best in computers?
Cool.
uh,
Okay. Easy peasy. 1, 2, 3,
okay.
easy. What are your other two power tags?
I would say probably we'll just go a nice little B within your field of expertise. I'd say something like hacking or I guess that's pretty good. Just hacking or breaking through cybersecurity.
Let's go with hacking. Let's give
Okay.
you a lot of cool things you can play with that.
Okay.
You can also apply, you could even potentially hack your visor too if you never needed to, which could be interesting and have all kinds of fun metaphysical ramifications. What is
Yep.
your third power tag?
We could go with I guess this kind of goes into I guess we'll go with C. What other tangent field have you ventured into indirectly? I would say going with the kind of like the dumpster dive thing, kind of like breaking and entering, maybe more actual physical larceny type situations.
Okay. Cool. Breaking and entering. I like that.
I mean, it's if you're gonna go one way, why not go the other? Um,
And then your weakness tag.
okay. Can you on a logos? Can you go with 4 or?
Yeah, you can any one of your themes one of them can have 4 power tags, but if you do that, you have to have 2 weakness tags with it. Did you want to do that for training?
Yeah, let's see if we can make it work. I think it'd be an
Okay.
interesting one to try.
Yeah.
Maybe something like social engineering. I know a lot of hacking actually involves that. Getting people to
Yeah.
give you either passwords or, you know.
I would probably assign that to E. What quality or trait did your training foster, and put social engineering on that one.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. Okay.
Because I also like the idea that that's a little Mr. Robot thing going on there. She's easily forgettable, but she the one calling from IT going, oh, we just need to recover your password.
Fabulous. Okay, so now we need to do 2 weakness tag questions.
Okay, so I mean, I guess C, who is after you due to your prominence in the field. I mean, I don't know who the exact villain is. Maybe.
Well, there's going to be lots of villains, so this is
Yeah.
your opportunity to create like a nemesis of sorts.
I definitely like this idea of like some kind of dark shadow government type thing going on. So, I don't know if there's an actual name for it, but like a shadow government or shadow organization that maybe she's always digging at or poking at. She might not even know that she's actually like, offending them, but
So why don't we make C, and this now I have like NPCs to make stuff for the Dark Moon Collective.
there we go. That works.
Nice.
And then your second weakness tag.
Let's see. I do like the idea of like an A. They have an example of scattered notes. I kind of like that idea that like, she's doing all this high level stuff and like collecting all this information, and if you actually like looked at she's got like a post-it over here, like like a notebook over there. Like it's not the most organized person in the world. A little bit of a chaotic.
I think scattered notes could be interesting for that, because it can mean that you could like potentially drop a note or leave a note that could be detrimental to you. Okay, I'm done with that. That's cool. And how are you defining the identity?
Let's see.
An absolute statement that captures an attitude, motive, or belief related to your training. So you're a hacker. We've already kind of done the hacktivist thing a little bit with mission, but this is more about you're a little bit of a criminal, to be
Yep.
quite frank.
So maybe
And
the
you're
ends justify the means kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that. The ends just or the means justify the ends.
Yep.
Oh, I heard beans, and I thought of Into the Woods again. It justifies the beans. Sorry, I'm the theater
Okay.
nerd.
You're not alone. It's
Okay.
fine.
Dave, what would you like to title this one?
Um, this is gonna be. I mean, you don't want to do like computers or anything again. A sort of computer training or
Um, what does Ormy have a day job?
I mean, I'm trying to really like pull away from some stereotypes that I'm sure are gonna come up with this character,
What?
unfortunately.
Well, I had an idea, because this is your training, right? And you talked about this social engineering and you mentioned IT. What if the title of this were, "Hi, I'm Ormy from IT"?
Yeah, go for it. that works very well.
Okay, Awesome. Very cool. So we are back to Steven with Scooter, and now we're doing your expression, Steven.
Wait.
And Steven, did you
Again.
pick a theme book that was going to have 4 tags with it, or are you not doing that? It's okay to not do that.
I did the 3 tags. I thought it was 4 tags for
Oh, you did. Oh, well, you did that with adaptation.
No,
you did that with
defining
defining.
tags.
I'm an idiot. I am so sorry. Thank you. I just didn't get it noted on my thing. Okay, so expression. Here we go. What is your concept for expression? Was this the lightning stuff we talked about?
No. Well, let me just okay. So my theme is the artifice of anger, and my title is Grief Goblin. My Mr. A identity is how do I destroy the destructors? And then what?
No, keep going. I'm thinking.
Okay.
What power tags should you go with?
A is I render the strong weak with my force. D, where the hell is it? Help. If you see it, Logan, read the question.
What
D.
conditions or situations enhance your mythos expression?
Oh, the smell of fear fuels me.
Okay.
And then I went with I become quietly intense and cold. Like, how do you behave, when your tag comes into effect? Did I mess it all up?
No. And what was your weakness tag?
B. Where is it? I can't find
What
it.
targets are immune or resistant to your mythos expression?
Oh, loved ones and the gluten-free.
Okay, cool.
No, they got nothing.
No. Can we twist it? I like the direction you had it. I just want to rephrase a little bit
That's
to
fine.
bring in a little bit more of a lightning element to it.
Okay, cool. I would love your input.
Okay, so goblins. That's actually really interesting you went there because they mess with technology sometimes.
Okay.
So we can apply the electrical stuff into that. So what did you say was your power tag for A?
I render the strong weak with my force.
I think force implies electric a little bit there. So just kind of keep in mind when describing it that you might give us.
I can cause a blackout.
Why don't you just title it Blackout?
Okay. I'm gonna put blackout and then in parentheses electrical so I remember.
Okay. And what was the next one you went with?
Like how do I behave, whatever it is under my thing. And it's I become quietly intense and cold.
Maybe change cold to charged, but I like the quietly intense.
Oh, like electroshock charged?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just say electrically charged.
Okay. Nice. 1 second. Just got a message that I just want to make sure is nothing crisis situation. Everyone, bear with me. Okay. Thanks, Kim. Everyone just be aware of typing just a little bit. Oh, hi, Una. Everyone, that's my dog in Steven's window.
Aw, hi, puppy.
Oh,
Okay.
hi. I didn't realize she was right here.
What's your third power tag, Steven?
D. What is it that like fuels me or something?
Oh no, what conditions or situation enhance your mythos expression?
Oh, the smell of fear fuels me.
Why don't we change that to storms?
Okay.
Because that way, like, whenever it's stormy out and it's the City of Mist, it's going to storm a lot, to be quite frank. Your electrical powers and all of your powers will benefit from that, and I think you'll find a little bit more versatility with that.
Okay, cool.
And then your weakness tag question I actually love. The gluten-free thing will probably never come up, but I love it.
Well, loved ones might.
Loved ones definitely will, but the gluten-free thing was really cute. And remind me.
I thought that was a character thing.
Oh no, I love it. I love it. Remind me what the mystery question is. What is this mystery trying to solve?
How do I destroy the destructors?
I like that. That works. And the
I'm
title was
open to suggestions.
no. I think that one's really good. I think that one's really, really good. It's just a little bit of tweaking that we need on the tags. And what was the title again?
Grief Goblin.
Let's
And
maybe reframe.
the theme was the artifice of anger.
Let's see. Artifice Goblin. What if it was something like Electro Goblin?
Okay.
I mean, like that won't really come up in the grand scheme of things, the title of it. But I think
Fine. I just went with Grief Goblin for like motivation of why they have this streak.
absolutely.
Okay, so what is it?
Electro Goblin.
Thank you.
Okay, so everyone, we have one more thing to do. Is our crew. So this is something that y'all are all going to discuss together. Can someone write this down for me and send it to me so I can have a copy of it as well? Do I have any volunteers?
I can. Okay, Steven can do it.
Steven, okay, thank you, Steven. Okay, so basically what we're doing is we're making a theme book for our crew. So first things first is the crew theme book, the concept. What is our shared goal? Now, I haven't exactly given you all the plot of this game yet, but how it's going to come together essentially is your approach to help find someone. I'm not going to tell you who that someone is yet, specifically, but that's kind of a shared goal. But you can have shared goals beyond that. You all have, some of y'all have businesses in the tens. Marcel, you probably go to the bakery because, you know, you're a cop. Wow, I went there. Ripple, you probably go to the bakery because, you know, you're a hacker and sweet treats. So you all kind of know each other beforehand. When game starts, it's kind of in the middle of things, and you are not necessarily a fully fledged team yet, but you have worked together a little bit. Marcel, you might get information from Ripple that maybe you couldn't get from other means. You probably have gone to the Aphrodite Lounge before for a drink after work and probably sung a couple karaoke hits with Scooter. Who knows? Who knows? But what is y'all's reason to be together other than the plot I'm going to give you? And this is the floor open for you. We have about half an hour, so we have about 4 or 5 questions and then 3 power tags to come up with and a weakness tag. This is going to be on page 146 and 147 of the PDF.
Thank you.
Logan, just a heads up. Little Miss Una is getting very antsy.
I know. We're going to go out in half an hour, honey.
Okay. Okay, so the first question is, what is our shared goal? Could it be something like I guess the question is, since we're tied, sort of like the binding the sort of thing that binds us all together is we all live and or work in the tens. So is there like something like disrupting the status quo? Is there something encroaching? Is there something corrupting something there? And that's what our shared goals is addressing that.
Okay, well, we already kind of have something built in this with Dave because our little hacker extraordinaire, Ripple, got into a little bit of trouble with the Dark Moon Collective. Maybe they are trying to rezone and develop new businesses in the tens that could oust all of you from the community.
Okay, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so who or what brought us together? I think we have the answer to that. The Dark Moon Collective is kind of fucking with all of your livelihoods and lives.
We write this somewhere?
Just open like a document or something, or notes on your phone or something like that, and just send it to me later.
Yeah, there's something for these questions in the sheet.
Yeah. Why do we work together? What does each member contribute to the cause? I don't think we have to go in super depth about that unless someone wants to.
I'm sorry, what was the name of the group? The Dark what?
The Dark Moon. Oh, go ahead, Joey.
The Dark Moon Collective that's the group that's encroaching.
Mm-hmm. Where did we meet? Where did we? I think if you look at these questions on the PDF, I think a lot of these we already kind of have an idea about the answer for. But what sort of this is one I think that we all need to discuss. What sort of resources do we have at our disposal? So think of the things that are on your sheet that we've talked about your character. Like Thomas, you have the resources of being a police officer. Stephen, you have food because you have the bakery. You all have a place to unwind after a mission because of the Aphrodite Lounge. You have
I also have a way to create decoys of myself.
exactly things like that. So think about these things as we go into our power tags. And
I mean, yeah, I think that in terms of what we get from the Aphrodite Lounge, that's also like we know a lot of people who know a lot of people.
Mhm.
Like that goes to the bakery as well. That goes through pretty much all of us. We all know people who know people.
I was gonna say, I think a lot
No.
of the common theme there, I guess, would be like the community around like the tens is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Thomas, you being new to gaming, I really hope that you're seeing that this stuff is all kind of built up organically already. Like nothing anyone has said has been surprising, and it's kind of piggybacking and playing off the things that other people have contributed. So everything you've all done collectively together has started to really flesh out the setting of the tens a little bit, and we'll do that more as we keep playing. Okay, so the question is, you get to choose 3 power tags and a weakness tag. There are a couple ways we can do this. You can collectively agree on the 3 that you want to do and work on tags together. There are 4 of you. 3 of you could pick a power tag question to answer, and the 4th person can do the weakness tag. That might seem a little unfair, but it might not. It kind of depends on you. How do you 4 want to go about doing this? These
There's
are on
one that
page
jumped.
147.
There's one that jumped out to me right away. If
And which
people
one is
don't mind, it was D, who is guiding, backing, or assisting our operation.
that?
And the answer to that would be Artie, the bartender at the Aphrodite Lounge, who knows way more than he should. Is everyone okay with that?
What if
Yeah.
we make it Artie and Lulu?
Sure.
Okay.
And do these go in the crew section of the character sheet?
I believe on the first page of the form fillable character sheet is where you put your crew tags.
Cool, thank you.
Steven, you're muted.
Artie and Lulu of what?
Bartenders at the Aphrodite Lounge.
Aphrodite.
Okay, so we've chosen D. We have 2 more. Thomas, why don't you pick one of them? Haven't heard from you in a while.
I guess I'm not quite. Sorry, I'm not quite following the yeah, I'm not quite.
This is us as a
Yeah.
group. So I mean, if you think of like a superhero team or the Sailor Scouts, like what is kind of that defining group characteristic. So I mean, you want to think of like like the Avengers or the Sailor Moon or Power Rangers, like what really kind of like defines that group.
Yeah, like you're just picking something that is true about us as a group and how we operate. And I guess that I'm guessing I'm sorry, correct me if I'm wrong here, Logan, but it sounds like this gives us all a power tag we can use.
Yeah, so crew power tags are power tags that you have access to that aren't always, from what I remember, they're not always 100% of the time. They're very situational, but there's something you would all have access to.
Got it.
Okay. Um,
I mean, like, to give you an example, like we'll pull the Power Rangers. I think they already got mentioned. Like, where do they hang out? The high school. How do they
bar.
handle situations? They kung fu fight. You know, yeah. Like, so when you look at them, think about that. Like, how would you envision us as a group handling something, or where do we hang out, or
yeah. Um, um, mm, um,
when you want to kind of think about it a little bit?
mm, yeah,
I kind of have a weakness I'd like to
yeah,
propose if I could. I'll take a stab at it.
yeah, yeah,
I
Go
just
for it.
think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
let's do
funny.
it.
I kind of just saw it. I think it's kind of funny. It's on B, and they have an example of who was watching the suspect. I'm about to rephrase that, but I get this vision that all of our characters seem to have these lives. And I could just see them like, not necessarily coordinating with each other. I mean, we've got the scatterbrained hacker, the baker, the master baker. I do apologize. You got the it persona and the loner lab rat. So I could just see like they're trying to coordinate their efforts, and then something happens. It's like, well, who was supposed to be watching? So
Mhm.
I kind of think that would be a humorous weakness for the group.
Okay, so something that could be interesting to way in which to frame that as a tag could be something. How do you get each other into focus? Divided, or how do you get each other into trouble? Divided focus.
Mm. Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
So why don't we make that our weakness tag? And so we have two more power tags to do. Did you find any one that you like, Thomas? We can have Steven pick one if you're still thinking.
Yeah, I think yeah. Um, sorry, I'm just struggling with like how to like conceptualize like something like for the group.
Okay,
I
so
guess,
just to kind
yeah.
of give you an example with what we did with D was who was guiding, backing, or assisting your operations. Joey gave the group mentors, where you have Phoebus and Deimos giving you private wisdom. Artie and Lulu, Artemis and Luna, let's just be real,
Mhm.
guide your group and get like basically they'll be the ones giving you missions. They'll be feeding you information, that sort of thing. So basically, with having them brought in, they're an external force that is pushing your group to do stuff. Um, so like E could be really cool. How do you get around the city? And what are some ways in which you do it? I mean, hell, the sailors scouts teleported quite often and fabulously, I might add. Um, ah, pulled my cord out.
Mm,
So, why don't we come back to you real quick, just so you can see another
yeah.
example, Stephen? Were there any of those that on the power tags for the crew that looked interesting to you? You're on mute, Stephen.
Sorry, I have like 6 helicopters flying outside my window. There was just a shooting like right outside our building, and the shooters on the loose. Whee!
Yay, New
So
York City.
I kind of zoned out for a bit while I was on Citizen and trying to figure out what's going on. Can you tell me what page I'd find these on? I
One
apologize, viewers.
147.
Thank you. I apologize, viewers and my team.
You're all good.
And Kim, who has to edit that out.
Oh, we're not releasing this audio like that. We're just gonna have it all up on YouTube.
Oh,
Oh,
But it's okay. Things happen. We're all good.
it was like all of a sudden I heard tons of helicopters and I was like, what's going on? Okay, so your crew. So I'm choosing a weakness.
No, we've
We already
Dave
got
has
the
done the
weakness.
weakness tag force, and Joey picked D for Artie and Lulu, bartenders at the Aphrodite Lounge.
Who know too much.
Okay, so I'm doing power.
Yes.
Yeah, you can pick any
Okay,
of the other
sorry.
power tags.
It cut out and I didn't hear all of that. Okay. Let me just read it for a second. I apologize, everyone.
Well, I'll vamp for a minute. Joey, I love your
It
hoodie.
was kind of a
Thank
crazy
you. Oh.
moment out my window.
Hold on, I want to make sure that the viewers can actually see more of it than they've been seeing. But yep, I bought this specifically for the stream.
wow, that's nice.
I have my
actually,
own.
I think the back is even hotter though.
It is with her love me chain.
Oh, I know.
Okay, what do we got, Steven?
How do we get around?
Okay.
How do we get around, Steven?
Well,
Oh, God.
luckily for everybody, Scooter owns a very small, old, stained, rusty, but still functional yellow Volkswagen Bug.
Oh.
Wait. Wasn't there an old car called the Moon or the Luna or something?
Maybe, but I wanted it to be something small that we all have to cram into.
Okay, but but it has to be yellow.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you get around? Old VW yellow Bug.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so Thomas, now you've seen a couple of these. And the weakness.
Is everybody okay with that?
I don't see
Oh
why
yeah,
not.
is everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that. Ooh, excuse me. Goodness, I have the hiccups. I apologize, everyone. Okay, so we have Thomas with two of our power tags. We have the yellow Bug, which can come in useful for chases, and whoever's driving it gets like a bonus for having it there. We have our two mentors, Artie and Lulu, who might or might not be a couple, who might or might not have a daughter, who might or might not be open. It's kind of hard to say and very confusing, but we'll just roll with it. So what out of those other power tags do you think might be interesting for your group? Remember, you are these community leaders who are trying to save the tens from the Dark Moon Collective. You have a hacker, you have a baker, you have a candlestick maker, and by that I mean an it girl. And what are you thinking that would be something cool to incorporate into this group that and if it helps, think of it less as something that's already been defined and something that you're, for lack of a better word, imposing upon the group as a role-playing opportunity.
Okay. Sorry. It's like everything in my brain has left me and I have like no idea what to do. Sorry, it took me like I'm not exaggerating when I say like I've sat with this for like 20 plus hours. So it's like I feel very like
No, it's cool. It's cool.
Bear with me just a moment and just like blanking.
Okay, let's look at this maybe from reverse then. Let's like, what's something cool you think? What is something cool you think that could be true or about the team or something cool the team could have? And let's see if we can find a category it would fit in.
So, I guess maybe like if we have like a like besides where we all are like a because we all have like our own like things, but like our sorry, hold on.
Like a headquarters?
Well, I guess like just some sort of like third place, like that, you know, because like each of us has kind of our own place, like so I guess like some place that like, you know, that's separate that we
In
convene. But
in the 90s
yeah.
anime, and I think I think also in the manga, and I think also in Crystal, there was like a secret headquarters underneath an arcade.
Yes. Okay, cool. So that would
fit
Yeah.
B.
that would hit B 100%. So what if it were like
I mean, really, the arcade idea fits pretty
Yeah.
well. I mean, like you said, it was under an arcade, so I mean, you could definitely see like this kind of retro or, arcade building in this neighborhood.
Well,
It can even be one of those
maybe.
like sort of like new fashion like gamer bars they have now.
Thomas, I feel like you're about to say
Yeah.
something.
Sorry.
Oh, well, I was thinking like something like that, like how, like update this because it's like problematic, but like how in like a lot of like older movies they would have like those um like usually it was like in like Chinese restaurant where like people would like gamble. You know what I mean? Like how that was like common, like something like like what you were saying, maybe like a gaming bar or like a like new
A
age
gambling.
like gambling something like something like
Okay,
that.
so why don't we have I like this idea of a gaming bar, and I think that plays into this, and there's probably is some gambling and some
Mm-hmm.
less than fresh activities going on.
Mm-hmm.
But what if y'all have something like a private booth or a private room
Ooh.
in the gaming center or the gaming cafe or the gaming club or something? We'll figure out a name for it. But this booth is something that is like you either pay to rent it or because of the work you've done with the community, like it is permanently reserved for you, something like that.
Okay.
But it could also have access to like some kind of like Moon Kingdom computer or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's a private room or a private office in the gaming cafe, that could be really cool.
Or it could be they have like they have like suites you rent. They're like all hooked. They're all like decked out with like
Oh.
your. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying yeah, like how like how like some like karaoke bars like
Mhm.
instead of it being like open, it's like you have your little room like
Mm-hmm.
but the same concept but like for the gaming. Sorry, that was just
Yeah.
me like
No, I was
making
thinking the same thing.
connection.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And actually, I think it's really important that you did that because a lot of I could have seen this very easily with everything happening at the Aphrodite Lounge in terms of downtime stuff.
Yeah.
And while I love Joey, I don't want this to become like the Joey show either. And I don't mean any
Oh, please
disrespect
don't.
to you towards that. But like if everything were focused around the Aphrodite thing, then it would really kind of shift our
Mhm.
Sailor Venus, Mina Kim into being the kind of star. And I want all four of you to be stars. So I think that's a really good idea, Thomas. Cool. Okay, so we're calling it private room at the gaming cafe for the power
Yeah.
tag. Okay. So now we just need a mystery or an identity for this theme. So what do we want to like what phrase do we, not the title, but like what try exploring the following options. Here we go. If it's an identity, something you all agree must be done or must never be allowed. A mystery could be a central question in case you all want, or in a case you all want to solve. A code of conduct you all abide by could be could be the identity for this, or a strange riddle which is the key to your destiny.
Mm.
I think something. I think identity is really rooted in what y'all have made. I think something about community, because you've all kind of touched on it in various ways, could be interesting. So, what do you want your mystery or identity to be? And there's no wrong answer. You could tell me to take a hike. I know what I want it to be,
Yeah.
and give it to the group.
I mean, I'm just spitballing here. In the name of the moon will punish you.
Oh, that, and that's actually kind of a mystery and identity. That's kind of cool. How do we all feel about that?
Yeah.
In the name of the moon will punish you. What's this?
What? Hey! Good
What?
gamers borrow, great gamers steal.
And Logan ignores crime. What? I didn't see anything.
Good news,
Okay, so
Steven?
what is? I think so. I'm not sure what happened. Second.
We take the stream got weird.
1 second, everyone. Texting him now.
Hey, producer Kim.
Hi, everyone listening and watching. The mystery voice you hear, the dulcet tones.
I apologize. My Discord crashed.
Oh, you're good.
And now Thomas is Scooter Toms.
I'm
That
working
was
on
funny.
it.
You're all good. You're all good. It's all good.
All right.
Okay, so in the name of the moon will punish you is a really cool mystery identity. But what do we want to title our crew? Some examples are the casual detectives, company men, conspiracy busters, dabblers in the mist, the event, modern gods, etc., etc., etc. You could simply call yourselves the Sailor Scouts.
Yeah,
But
or
that
Sailor,
might
Sailor Scouts, Sailor Guardians.
Sailor Guardians could be cool, especially to come with what y'all do
Guarding
in the
the
community.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. Okay, wow. Okay, so
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to name everything. I'm just throwing ideas out there, and apparently my ideas are good.
I like it.
No, they're very, very good.
good ideas. Good ideas are good ideas.
Yeah,
Okay, so we have about a few minutes left, everyone. Now, listeners, this is our second AP, so it's not going to be quite as extensive as the Body Electric until such a time as I have the time to do that. So it's going to be a monthly game. Typically, I think we were talking about the last Sunday of every month. That said, this was our session 0 in character creation, so we were kind of talking about doing our first session a little sooner. We were tentatively talking about having session 1 on the 12th. We will keep you informed about that. We're still checking some dates and everything, but pay attention to our Discord server, to our Twitter, and to our and or our Facebook. Information will be there as soon as we come up with a date. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. I want to thank especially Kim for all her hard work, and to my players for all of their hard work. I know this system is not the easiest one to wrap your head around. It's a little different, but I think with what we've done, we're going to have a lot of fun. With our crew. um, let's see a couple other things. Check out the Body Electric. We will be streaming this coming Friday, which is what is this? The 4th, March 4th? No, March 3rd. I can't look at a calendar. I don't know why. That'll be at 8 p.m. You'll see myself. You'll see Steven. You'll see Kim's beautiful face playing Casper, our wonderful robot Promethean, who probably has more sense than the rest of us. and it's really exciting. Be sure to like and follow and subscribe if you've enjoyed what you've seen. Join us on the Discord, and at that, I will leave everyone else to say goodbye in their own way. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Au
Good
revoir.
night.
Have a good night, everybody.